Tonight on Connecticut's news station, after weeks in the courtroom, a state judge has made his decision on the Bridgeport primary. Now officials are scrambling to organize a redo, all ahead of Election Day next week.
An inmate at a local prison is accused of attacking an officer again, and tonight we're getting a report from police about what happened.
And as the Lewiston community continues to grieve, they will soon be joined by the President of the United States. We'll have details on Joe Biden's recently announced trip.
Now at 10, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
We begin tonight in Bridgeport, where officials are now forced to plan a new Democratic primary. Thanks for joining us tonight on CW20. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. A state judge has ordered Connecticut's largest city to redo the primary, finding there was mishandling of absentee ballots.
Fox 61's Jake Garcia is live in Bridgeport now with the latest on the judge's ruling and when we can expect the new primary date to be announced. Jake.
Well, Brent and Sarah, today's ruling by Judge William Clark sends a 10-day timeline into motion for the candidates, the city of Bridgeport, and the Connecticut Secretary of the State's office to come to an agreement to set a new date for that new primary, despite the general election going on as planned next Tuesday. Mayoral candidate John Gomes being greeted by campaign members for the first time since the judge's ruling Wednesday to essentially redo the Bridgeport mayoral primary. Incumbent Mayor Joe Ganim won the mayoral primary in September by 251 votes. But days after the primary, questionable surveillance videos showed what many believed was absentee ballot stuffing at various ballot boxes across the city in the days leading up to the primary. Gomes sued for a new primary, citing evidence of what he calls was a stolen election. Wednesday, Judge William Clark issued a 37-page ruling in favor of Gomes, saying in part, quote, "The volume of ballots so mishandled is such that it calls the result of the primary election into serious doubt and leaves the court unable to determine the legitimate result of the primary." The judge saying the drops were made in a way that violates state law. Judge Clark also saying the stamps used by the town clerk's office were not in compliance with the Secretary of the State's policy set by state law. Gomes reacting to the judge's decision.
And many people said their votes did not matter. And we said, no, it did matter. And we fought it all the way to the court system, to the judicial process, to get that, to tell the people, no, your vote does matter.
Judge Clark indicated he does not have the authority to postpone or cancel the upcoming election, so the Gomes campaign is still looking ahead to Election Day on November 7th.
We have faith that our voters, our supporters, the voters of Bridgeport will show up and we will become victorious on November 7th.
Connecticut's Secretary of the State, Stephanie Thomas, reacting to the ruling in a statement saying, quote, "The court's finding that there was a significant mishandling of ballots should be a great concern to all. Our office will continue to advocate for policies such as drop box surveillance, a Connecticut election court, and investment in voter education, all of which will strengthen our election system." We reached out to incumbent Mayor Joe Ganim's campaign for comment on today's ruling, but we did not hear back. Live in Bridgeport, Jake Garcia, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
All right, Jake, thank you. Time now for a fresh check on the forecast, and it's time to turn the heat on, or maybe turn the heat up, because it's about to get cold.
Yeah, I smelled, when I went out for dinner, I was smelling the fireplaces.
The fireplaces out across the city, yeah.
Right? And I'm so jealous of these people
I know.
tonight. Yeah.
It's so comforting. We'll just have to smell other people's fireplaces. This will be the coldest air mass that we have seen so far this season. Not unusual for this time of year, though, with temperatures dropping below freezing, and there is a freeze warning in effect just for the immediate shoreline. That doesn't mean it's going to be colder at the beaches than it will be inland. Just the growing season has stopped for inland areas. So the National Weather Service no longer issues freeze warnings, so that's the reason why. It can be a little bit misleading, though. We're already at the freezing point for Windsor Locks. We're already at 30 degrees below freezing in Meriden, and we'll see many areas dip back into the 20s as we head towards daybreak tomorrow, near 30 at the Connecticut shoreline. So a cold start to the day tomorrow, maybe giving the kiddos a bit more to bundle up as they head out the door. And we'll see high temperatures rebounding into the upper 40s to right around 50 50 degrees as we head through the afternoon. We are looking at wall-to-wall sunshine. Another chilly night tomorrow night with areas of patchy frost and some towns getting down around freezing once again. But then we're already digging out. So it is a quick cool snap and then a rebound as we head closer to the weekend. I think you're really going to like that forecast coming up.
Thank you, Rachel. Police have identified the teen who was killed in a crash in Orange. Police say 14-year-old Jasir Cyprian of Waterbury was a passenger in a stolen BMW when the driver hit a tractor trailer. This happened Monday morning at the intersection of Derby Avenue and Orange Center Road. Police believe the driver of the stolen car was picked up in another car at the scene. Jasir was thrown from the car. According to police, the tractor trailer had a green light. The BMW ran a red light. The crash is still under investigation.
An outpouring of grief and a demand for change tonight among visiting nurses and state lawmakers on both sides of the aisle following the murder of Joyce Grayson, a veteran nurse who was killed doing her job.
She was a very beautiful soul, loving, kind.
Marilyn Dunbar was a colleague of Grayson's. She said she's afraid to work now after learning of the nurse's murder in Willimantic on Saturday. Grayson was there to care for Michael Reese, a registered sex offender recently released from prison. Politicians spoke about the circumstances and what must change.
People are being released time and again who a lot of us cringe and say, are they really ready to be integrated into society? And clearly they're not.
This is our state coming together as one single voice. And we're saying that there's going to be zero tolerance.
Lawmakers say they will be looking into potentially requiring escorts to accompany nurses in high-risk homes. And tonight, in memory of Grayson, nurses across Connecticut are wearing white ribbons.
An inmate at Walker Correctional Institute in Suffield has been charged with assault for attacking prison staff again. John Baltus is serving a life sentence for 2006 murder. Back in August, police say he stabbed 2 corrections officers. Well, again today, police announced he struck a Department of Corrections doctor in the chest and assaulted another officer while they were trying to restrain him. He'll appear in court again tomorrow to be arraigned on assault charges.
Well, new at 10 tonight, a Connecticut correctional officer is behind bars accused of trying to entice a teen to meet up with him for sexual activity. Fox
61's DeAndrea Turner joins us in studio tonight to break down how this arrest happened, how the feds got involved in the case. DeAndrea.
Well, the Meriden Police Department arrested this correction officer on October 12th. All of this came to play because of an undercover FBI operation.
This 10-page arrest warrant details what led up to 36-year-old Richard Hamill, a corrections officer at the Mason Youth Institution in Cheshire, facing charges for criminal attempt to commit sexual assault, enticing a minor by computer, and criminal attempt of risk of injury to a minor. According to the warrant, the investigation started when an undercover FBI agent started to talk with Hamill through an online app, Kik, posing as a father of a 14-year-old girl. The so-called father claimed to be sexually active with the stepdaughter. Through days of conversation, the agent and Hamill talked about engaging in sexual acts with the 14-year-old. The warrant continues to say that Hamill sent pictures of his private area and stated, quote, "I can't wait for you to show her." According to the warrant, Hamill was asked if he had ever been sexually active with a minor. He responded, "Yeah, a few times." The warrant continues to state after a week of messaging, the two agreed to meet up. The warrant said that Hamill agreed to pick up a 12-pack of beer, some Halloween candy, and condoms. After he picked the items up, he sent a picture to the agent confirming it. An FBI surveillance team followed Hamill to the location the two agreed to meet, where he was later arrested.
And Hamill is being held on a $500,000 bond. In the studio, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
President Joe Biden will travel to Lewiston, Maine this week to meet with those still coming to grips with the deadly mass shooting that tore apart their community. The White House announced the president and the First Lady will travel to Maine on Friday, exactly 1 week after the body of the suspect in that mass shooting was discovered. 18 people were killed in multiple locations across Lewiston, with more than a dozen people wounded. President Biden and the First Lady will also meet with first responders and medical personnel who were on the front lines in the moments after that mass shooting.